Hello everybody, welcome back to Universe Rewritten, the Total Extreme Wrestling channel where I take parts of wrestling history, give them a little bit of a twist and create a story in that new universe. This is episode 1.5 of ECW ReBorn. In today's video, I'll be taking you on a backstage tour to introduce you to the current inhabitants of the Land of Extreme. I'll show you the booking team, the inner circle, the finances, everything you want to know from backstage in ECW, and then introducing you to the current roster. And just before we do get into the video, just want to let you know I recorded today's video and I recorded Thursday's video all at once, so there might be little bits where I'm talking as if it's all in one video, but it came out at like 50 minutes and nobody wants to listen to me for 50 minutes. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening on the channel this week. So with that all out of the way, let's go and take you to the introduction to everyone who's backstage in ECW. We're going to begin the backstage tour with the booking team, which is headed up by, spoilers if you haven't seen episode 1, Mick Foley, who is the new owner of ECW. He's the guy I'm playing as. He's the guy who brought ECW back to life. So it's Mick Foley heading up the booking team. And then alongside him, it's Don Callis, the Funk brothers, Terry and Dory Funk Jr., Tommy Dreamer, Mr. ECW, and in what might be a little bit of a surprise, Arn Anderson is on our booking team. He is in our backstage team. And so, yeah, I'm quite happy with that booking team for now. We've obviously got Cyrus, aka Don Callis, who's got a 70 booking rating. Dory Funk Jr., who has 70, and he's got one more than Terry Funk. I'm sure that's something they argue about whenever they go out for dinner, that Dory Funk is a one better booker than Terry Funk. And then obviously Tommy Dreamer as well with his 70, and Arn Anderson only a 65, which does surprise me a little bit that Arn Anderson has got a lower rating than Terry Funk for being a booker. I would have thought Arn Anderson might have been a little bit better, but that is what we have got. And as you can see, it is the 8th of June 2001 in game. And so everyone apart from Arn Anderson, who I must have added a day later onto the booking team, they are all on their probationary periods until the 9th of July or the 10th for Arn Anderson. So they've got another event. They've got tonight's event, ECW Aftershock, and they might have the next one. I'm not sure when I've scheduled the next one for. I'll have a look at that in just a minute. And so now you've met the booking team, let's go and have a look at the inner circle as well. And so the inner circle is looking a little bit like this. The locker room leaders are Fit Finlay and Terry Funk. Thought it'd be a good idea to have two grizzled old school veterans leading the locker room there. A lot of respect, I would imagine, everybody has for those two in the locker room. And Fit Finlay is going to be a very, very busy boy because he has got 3 jobs. The second of which is going to be the chief enforcer, because again, it's Fit Finlay. If you've got a problem, you are not going to be trying it with Fit Finlay, are you? Fit Finlay is going to keep discipline in the locker room for me. I should really imagine. I don't think anybody's going to be stupid enough to try and take on Finlay, are they? And so next up is their head of talent relations, and this is a big story because Joey Styles is being given the job of head of talent relations. That has caused a major issue which will be solved in tonight's event, ECW Aftershock. But anyone who knows their ECW history knows about the stories of ECW. You can probably work out what the issue is, and also by the title and the thumbnail of the video as well. You can probably guess what has happened, but I will explain it all later on when we do get into tonight's event, ECW Aftershock. And then next up, the morale officer is going to be the Blue Meanie. There was a few options, I think. Can I change it from here? Yeah, there are quite a few options here. And so, yeah, you can see I've removed the ill-suited candidates, so that brings it down a little bit. But you can see it's Blue Meanie, Charles Robinson, Chris Candido, Ricky Steamboat as well, which, spoiler alert, these are all other people who are on the roster, Shane Helms and the Sandman as well. But I thought, give it to Blue Meanie, give it to the Blue Meanie. But he's a fun guy. I think he is considered a fun guy, and he's considered recognisable by the fans. Class clown. So I thought, who better than Blue Meanie to be the morale officer, and hopefully he can keep everybody happy. Next up is the senior road agent, Dory Funk Jr. Again, another grizzled veteran, another guy who's been here, there and everywhere in the wrestling business. And so, yeah, very happy to give him the job, and we'll see how he gets on. And then senior referee, Charles Robinson, another guy who has jumped over from WCW following their death. And yeah, he's still wrestling to this day, IRL. So what's that, 24 years later? So he must have been refereeing for about, 30 years at this point, and he's still going. I saw him on SmackDown this past weekend. And so, yeah, I thought Charles Robinson, he's always been a very, very good referee, but I'm not sure his Little Nate nickname is going to work too well for him in ECW. So we might need to find a new nickname for him. If anybody has any ideas, let me know down below in the comment section. That would be very, very much appreciated. And so moving on from that, head men's trainer, Fit Finlay. Who else are you going to pick as a trainer? Fit Finlay, very well respected, brilliant technically in the ring. I'm very, very happy to have him on board. He is also available to wrestle. I'm not sure how much he's going to wrestle, but he is available for maybe a storyline here or there if I can come up with something for him. But I've mainly got him for the backstage. Maybe might have him go after one of our titles at one point. You never know. And then as for the women's trainer, we're not going to have much of a women's roster. At least not at first here in ECW. We might try and build it up a little bit over time. But as for the start, 2001... unfortunately, wasn't the best era for women's wrestling in America, was it? So maybe as this save goes on, we might build up the women's division a little bit more. But just to give somebody that job, I gave it to the man whose name I cannot pronounce. But here we go, Mikey Whipwreck. I think that's the best I've got it so far. And so he's going to be the head women's trainer. That might change over time. I might also give that to Finlay as time goes on. We shall see. And now Stooge, we have got Chris Kanyon has been given that job. I did initially offer it to Mike Awesome. That's something I will tell you before we get into tonight's show. I did offer it to Mike Awesome. That really, really annoyed Mike Awesome. So he turned it down. He's annoyed. He's irritated. He's all the red things. So instead, I offered it to Chris Kanyon. And Chris Kanyon was like, yes, please. Yes, please. I want any job I can get. Please give me a job. So, yeah, I gave it to Chris Kanyon. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he does with that, if he does actually help me, if he does actually stooge people out as we go along the save. But, yeah, that is our inner circle. Next up is probably the most predictable part of the backstage team. It is our commentary team. And I did think about going just for Joey Styles on his own as a commentator, but I'm not sure how well that works in this game. Let me know down below if you've gone for a one-man commentary team and if you have had any success with that. But I've obviously gone for Joey Styles and Cyrus the Virus Don Callis. They've obviously done commentary on ECW before. I know Joey Styles is more known for doing it mostly on his own, especially in the early years of ECW. But You can see here the ratings. They work very well together. Colour for Cyrus, 75 to 83. Play-by-play, I doubt there's anybody better in the game than Joey Styles at 83 to 91. And so, yeah, very happy with that announced team. And that's going to be on everything. We are only on pay-per-view right now. We haven't got a TV deal, so we're only on pay-per-view for now. So Cyrus and Styles are going to be commentating on that. I will probably keep it the same for TV if we ever get back onto there, which I'm hoping won't take too long. Which, you know what? Let's actually go and have a look at that. Let's go and have a look at our broadcasting deals, because we do have 4 broadcasting deals, but they are only on pay-per-view, like I say. We're starting off with DirecTV, who are all over America. They are huge in America. Absolutely everywhere. Huge all over the board. And so I'm very happy with that deal. It only goes on until next February in-game. Wednesday the 13th of February. And so, yeah, we've got 8 episodes remaining of 9 that we have to do for DirecTV to keep them happy, with a minimum quality of 61. So we should be able to hit that most months. I would be disappointed if we did a show that was lower than 61. And then after that, a little bit of an easier target, only 52 expected by viewers' choice who are in Canada. They're medium size in the Maritimes, small in Quebec, but they're big in Ontario, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and British Columbia. So yeah, 52 for our ratings, our rating quality in Canada. And we're getting 25% of the revenue generated from this deal, which I believe is a better slice than what we're getting from DirecTV, which indeed it is. We only get 15% from DirecTV. And now other deals as well. We also have a deal with VU in Canada as well. They're big in the Maritimes, Quebec and Ontario, which is the same as with Viewers' Choice. Actually, we're bigger on VU in Quebec than we are on Viewers' Choice. So quite happy with that. They only want a 52 as well. And they do still want 9 episodes remaining of 9. I think from what I remember from the first episode, from the first event, we can only do two of these at a time, and I think our first event was on DirecTV and Viewers' Choice. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with the VU deal in Canada and Centennial Communications in Puerto Rico as well. I'm not sure if we do extra events for those two, or if we just keep it to DirecTV and Viewers' Choice. Let me know what you would do down below. Would you do the extra shows and have them on the different networks of VU and Centennial, or would you just kind of just ignore them and just do DirecTV and Viewers' Choice? Let me know down below. Next up, let's have a very, very quick look at the finances. We do currently have $883,000 in the bank. We did make $386,000 last month from our pay-per-view event. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Yeah, we got $731,000 from the pay-per-view deal, but obviously money we spent as well, which mostly has gone on miscellaneous and taxes. So yeah, Taxman really taking his chunk there, 128 grand. I'm not sure what miscellaneous is, if we can get that down at any point. I don't know, because we did spend 202 grand on that last month, but we got 44 grand from sponsors, 8 grand from merchandise, 28 grand from ticket sales in the ECW arena, which is where we are going to be again tonight. But yeah, nice big chunk of change there, 731,000 from the pay-per-view, and we ended the month with a profit of $386,034. So yeah, very, very happy with that. It looks like finances aren't going to be a problem at the start of this save. So that is a very nice little boost. And next up, I'm only going to show you the size in America and Canada for now, because that's the only places we are broadcast. I've tried to get broadcasting deals elsewhere in the world, but nobody wants to know. So, yeah. So in America, we are pretty much mid-30s in the Mid-South, Midwest, New England, Northwest, the Southeast, and the Southwest. Puerto Rico and Hawaii, we are 25s. Great Lakes and Mid-Atlantic, 41 to 46. But obviously in our home state, our home area of the tri-state area, we are at 60. So that's where we're going to focus on for the next year or so. See if we can try and hit 77 by this time next year. So maybe by summer 2002, see if we can at least get to the 77 there, so then we can then try and move over to some of the other areas to try and get to big in the next couple of years. I would like by about 2003, 2004 to be considered quite big. I think that's a reasonable target. Do you guys? Again, I've never really done a long-term save where I've had to build a company up on TEW before. So please let me know if 3 years it would be enough to get from where we are now up to 77. So let me know if you think that's possible. But as for Canada, we are 26 in Ontario, which I'm not sure why we're so huge there. Again, if anybody knows anything about ECW history and why we're so big in Ontario, please do let me know. But other than that, we're all very low. It's 10 in the Maritimes, 15 in Quebec, 15 in Alberta, 10 in Saskatchewan, 10 in Manitoba, and 15 in British Columbia. So yeah, it's going to take us a while to even get to small. Now, what size are we currently, actually? ECW currently have a size rating of medium. Okay, so yeah, so our current size is medium. Sorry, I didn't read that properly there. Yeah, but we need to get to at least 77, like I say, in America, and we might get to big, but I would like to grow in Canada as well. As you can see, I've not really got much experience of building up companies, so we're going to learn on the fly here in this save. But yep, so we're going to have a look and see who's actually going to be wrestling for us and who's actually going to be appearing on screen for us. So we're going to begin with the people that are considered unimportant as we do begin this save. I'm not going to go through all of them because I have got quite a large roster. I don't know how many we actually have. We have 41 people on the roster. So I'm not going to go through everybody, but pause the screen, have a look. I'll highlight one or two that I do have plans for. But of course, starting with Too Cold Scorpio, ECW original. He's been there. He's been all around the company. I'm happy to bring him back. He's going to be a little bit of a decent hand, I think. I think he'll be able to get some decent matches out of him. But yeah, I don't really have too many high plans for him. Balls Mahoney is going to be in a surprisingly high-profile feud, which is going to kick off in tonight's event, ECW Aftershock. So we will see about him as he goes on. You might be surprised who I'm going to have him feuding with, but just keep watching and you'll find out. Chris Candido, I'm sure you all know about him. Very, very good technical wrestler. Very happy to have him in the company. Very happy to be able to do things with him and just see how he gets on. Christopher Daniels is debuting in the show tonight with his Fallen Angel gimmick. Can't wait to see what he can do in the land of Extreme. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. Evan Courageous is in the company, as well as I think the other two members of Free Count as they were in WCW. So yeah, very, very happy to have him in the company. I think he could do well. And we have got plans for the smaller guys in ECW, which again are going to be kicking off tonight. So do keep watching to see them. And as well as that, we have got Kenzuki Sasaki on a free appearance deal. I think it is. Yeah, we've agreed an alliance or a talent trading deal with New Japan. I think it is. And so, yeah, I'm very happy to have him on board for 3 appearances. He's going to be debuting as well tonight for us. And so, yeah, big, strong, tough guy. Not really the most popular in America, but 21s. I think we can maybe do something with him in the 3 appearances we do have him here for us. And so there's nobody else really that surprising, I think. Maybe Van Hammer. Van Hammer, again, not the best wrestler in the world ever, but 6'6", 270 pounds. I think use him as someone who guys can beat up and look impressive for beating someone that big, that muscly up, and see what we can get out of him, if anything. Next up, it's the guys that are considered recognisable, and not too many surprising ones here, I think. Axel Rotten, of course, ECW through and through. We've got him. Blue Meanie, already talked about him. Chavo Guerrero Jr. debuted at our first event. He did lose his debut match, unfortunately, but I do have plans for him. I do really like Chavo. And so, yeah, we've got plans for him in the future. David Flair. You saw him debut on episode 1. Again, I've kind of got plans for him. Maybe in kind of the original Mikey Whipwreck kind of mold. Maybe something like that. Maybe something different. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we will see what we can do with him. Again, just pause this if you want to see everybody who is on the roster. And so, you know what? She's on the screen. I'm going to say it. We've got Rena, a.k.a. Sable, in the company. We don't have Johnny B. Bad yet. I have sent a contract out to him. So maybe what I'm thinking is Rena and Johnny B. Bad debut together at our next event next month, if Johnny B. Bad has signed by then. And maybe we have them as like a glamour couple who are going to try and take over ECW and maybe try and show that they're just too big for ECW. Maybe that might be the storyline I go for with them. And nobody else there too surprising, I think. And so this is where our in-ring roster ends, as far as guys that are going to be wrestling month in, month out, and then hopefully week in, week out when we get on TV. But obviously Arn Anderson is not going to be part of that. He is on the booking team, he's backstage. But other than that, we have got Billy Kidman, who debuted last month and will be on the show tonight, ECW Aftershock. Chris Kanyon, if you didn't see the first episode, please do go back and watch it. But the storyline I've got him in at the start is him against Tommy Dreamer. Kanyon and Dreamer, who is the real innovator of violence. I think that could be a very, very good storyline. That will be progressing tonight. And then everybody else, I think you would expect to see in ECW. Apart from this guy, Vampiro. Again, episode 1, he made his debut. He's going to be feuding with RVD over the ECW title. Please do go back and watch episode 1. The numbers, by the way, were amazing. So thank you everybody who did watch episode 1. But if you haven't, go back and watch it now. But spoiler, Vampiro attacked RVD after RVD won the ECW title in a match against Mike Awesome, and Vampiro stole the ECW title before RVD could get his hands on it. So that is the storyline that Vampiro and RVD have got going on. They're going to be feuding over the ECW title over the next few months. We only have one guy who is considered a star. I thought he'd be considered a major star, but apparently not. And it is the one and only Rowdy Roddy Piper. Again, if you watched episode 1, you saw him. He was in a short segment during the show in the last episode. And yeah, I've got plans for him. I've got some really, really big plans. As you can see, managing the Sandman, because that is in episode 1. He did become friends with the Sandman during that event. So I'm going to have them working together. I thought when I signed him that Roddy Piper would be able to wrestle. But as you'll see, I have tried to ask him to come out of retirement and he keeps saying no, which is a real shame because I've got a dream match. I want for him in ECW that I think could still be very, very good. So maybe over the next year or so, might keep asking him to come out of retirement, but that we will have to see if that will ever happen. And then next up, our only major star, it is the owner himself, the hardcore legend, Mick Foley. And so that is our roster. And now, with me having prattled on for 25 minutes about the backstage news, which, again, a little bit behind the curtain, this is about the third time I've tried to do this backstage bit of the video, and this is the first time I've got it under half an hour. So I'm very, very happy with that. And that is the backstage tour all done and dusted. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. And if you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel down below. I do need to get to 100 subs as soon as possible so I can get my name all over my links, make it easier to share the channel about. So any subscriptions, any likes will be very, very much appreciated. And also as well, follow me on Twitter at SpenComs, SpenComs. That's where you can find out about all my new videos and also about all my football/soccer commentaries. And so, yep, guys, please do follow me over there. Thank you all so much for watching. I shall see you Thursday for ECW Aftershock. Bye.